Emotional testimony today from family members of a church's chicken employee who was shot and killed back in 2019.
Today, the gunman, 51-year-old Albert Lee Blake, was sentenced to life in prison for killing 28-year-old Maribel Ibanez and wounding two of her co-workers.
News 8's Kelly Hessedal live outside the South Bay courthouse with more on what happened in court today. And Kelly, we hear the testimony, especially from the mother of the victim. It's just so heartbreaking.
Yeah, absolutely. And the judge started out the hearing by basically saying, you know, I've covered a lot, or I've presided over a lot of very violent cases in my career, but this is among some of the most, or one of the most callous and senseless acts I've ever heard of. And he said the defendant deserves the maximum sentence, which was 146 years to life. And that is the sentence he handed down. But before that, we did hear from the victim's mother, who described her daughter as her best friend.
He didn't stop to think it was my daughter. He killed it, and he didn't do nothing to him to hurt her so bad. And I don't know how long it's gonna take me. By putting him in jail, it will stop hurting more other people. I know it won't bring my daughter back no more, but at least some part of that is done, that he would harm nobody else outside.
So, a very emotional testimony from Ibanez's mother. We also heard from two of the victims who survived the shootings, who basically said the defendant, Albert Lee Blake, changed their lives dramatically. Now, Mario Rojas said the shooting not only impacted his life, it impacted the lives of his wife and kids. Yet he says he forgives Blake for what he did. His coworker, Raquel Gutierrez, told the judge she's afraid to go anywhere. She said she doesn't feel safe doing anything. Now, as all of this was said, Blake did not show any emotion. That didn't even change when the judge handed down that life in prison sentence. Ibanez's sister also spoke in court today. Take a listen.
You left all of us with something. You left us fear, pain. We suffered a lot. You left lots of families without jobs, mental, heartbroken. And I always dream with her. And I hug her. It's hard to much remember.
And I know it was a little bit hard to hear her during that last part, but she said she dreams about her sister all of the time, and in her dreams she hugs her and tells her how much she loves her. So she went on to say she wrote a letter to the defendant, and in that letter she told him she forgives him. Heather and Carlo.
Yeah, so impactful to hear from the family members of those, especially Ibanez, who lost her life in that shooting. Oftentimes during sentencing hearings, though, Kelly, we ended up hearing from family members of the killer in the case. Did we hear from Blake's family at all?
Yeah, we did not hear from Blake's family at all today, and in fact his attorney didn't even speak on his behalf and ask for leniency from the judge. Now, I will say during the trial that the defense attorney's claim was that the prosecutors have the wrong guy. She claimed that there was no forensic evidence tying him to the crime scene. However, there were witnesses as well as the victims who ID'd him as the shooter, so that was certainly compelling evidence. However, we possibly could expect an appeal in this case. Heather and Carlo?
No reaction from Mr. Blake. Seems he's pretty resigned to what happened in court today. Kelly Hessedal reporting live. Thanks, Kelly.